every single social media profile has some sort of intro or bio.
The more people I'm connected with, the more potential audience I get in front of.
And so I love like thinking outside of the box, but then also thinking about what you're talking about of like the frequency, definitely having an effective content strategy.
But how that really plays into this overall strategy as well. So I'm David and this is Elle. We're 2 of the 3 partners of JumpstartGo that runs this marketing for insurance agents group here, and trying to create this group to really provide as much value as possible for you guys. Do weekly trainings in here, 4 p.m. Eastern every Monday, like right now, and whether they're Facebook or webinars. And then within the group, try to have it as a really great environment for discussions, questions, connecting with others for referral partners. Guys, use the group. You got 32,000 insurance agents here. A lot of people would love to answer questions, provide help, whether you're a brand new agent or an established agency. We try to make this group as positive and valuable as possible. We love having you guys here. And we love working with all of you guys, a lot of you guys directly inside of our programs like the Closers Click, Boosters Academy, and Legends, helping you grow and scale your businesses. We absolutely love working hand in hand with you guys, showing you strategies just like today, diving into social media strategies on how to grow that business. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into what we're going to be talking about today and kick off. Let's tee up today's training here. So today we're going to discuss 3 keys to a winning social media marketing strategy. What goes into that? What do I need to do to make sure I actually get results? Because what's the point if you're not going to get results, right? So we're going to discuss what content you should be posting and how often if you want to generate a steady flow of eager to buy leads. We're going to be talking about why you should forget websites and spend your time on this asset to drive your deal flow through the roof. We're also going to be talking about how to never worry about leads again by following our proven to convert social selling blueprint. Sound pretty good? We'll get your notes and notepads ready because it's going to be a training you're going to want to take lots of notes on. I know Elle's a big note taker, so get your pens and papers out. I'd love to see the notes. In fact, sometimes we even have members post their notes to the group as an image afterwards, which if you want to do that, go for it. I'd love seeing what everybody's notes and key takeaways are. All right, Elle, let's hop in. So off the bat, what does a social media marketing strategy start with?
Yeah, I think that this is something that gets overlooked a lot. And even though it seems sort of obvious, it's something that when I review social media profiles, it's lacking. And that is the profile itself. So there's way too many agents out there, probably a lot of you that are tuning in to this live right now, that if we were to take a look at your profile, there's absolutely nothing about what you do on your profile. And so I can't clearly see what types of products you sell, who you are helping, or how you are helping them. And these are things that are really important to get clear on and to start talking about in your profile. And so that's something that there's like 2 major areas in profiles that this is going to come through. Every single social media profile has some sort of intro or bio. So in your bio, you definitely need to highlight, what you do and how you help. And if you can also communicate that in a way that is to a benefit to your target audience, that's even better. So instead of life insurance agent, which is kind of broad and not super specific, you could say something like, I help families build wealth and get out of debt using life insurance. That's a lot more specific. You're calling out families and what you do, how you help them, the benefit that you provide to families.
So off the bat, don't be a secret agent, guys. So I know that seems, kind of obvious in some cases, but after looking at agents' profiles, thousands of them, it's not. And so, so many agents off social, people have no idea what you do, who you are, who you help, any of that. And your social profile doesn't reflect it. In fact, it may reflect the exact opposite even. So we want to make sure off the bat that, if people are coming to learn more about us and, what we do, who we help, whether that's for them or they want to be a referral partner or they've got family they want to refer, we want to make it very clear what that is. It's like someone coming up to you and being like, oh, who are you? What do you do? And you're not mentioning a word about what you do in insurance at all. So we want to make that clear because that's really a home base on social media is your personal profile. Those that come across you in comments or posts or interacting in different groups and they're coming to your profile to learn more about you, you want that to be nice and clear and easy for them. So we want to optimize that profile. Like Elle said, the little bio is a perfect section. Go ahead and clarify what you do and I'll give you a bonus as well. You can pin one post to the top of of your personal profile, meaning it's the first post that anybody who comes to your profile sees. Also, I don't want to go dive too much into the cover image, but profile picture, guys, if your profile picture is not you in your face, you need to change it. No one should be coming to your profile and confusing, is that them or is that their dog in the profile image? Or that's a group of people. I have no idea which one of them. Guys, please make your profile image yourself. It doesn't have to necessarily be a headshot and a suit and tie, but you want it to be nice and clear and primarily the face so that people can recognize you, see who you are, builds trust and authority. And also around social media, it's much smaller whenever you comment and post anywhere. So you want to make sure people can still clearly see who you are and that recognition there. So please make sure that you've got your profile there. So, okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a secret off the bat. Those are probably some of the, I want to say the worst, but some of the least effective things that you can post. No one reaches out for free quotes. No one reaches out for free consultations. They're free anyways, guys. No one's charging for those. And so I know you're kidding in the comments, but honestly, I see it a lot. And there's no hook. As marketers, we talk like hook. There's no hook or reason for them to reach out to do that. You're basically asking for marriage without ever dating or letting them know who you are. So we want to have something that is even an introduction there, guys, right? If they come to your profile, they know who you are, and the first post they see is, contact me for free life insurance quote. That's not really helping. So the really great post that you can pin to the top, even better as a video, is a quick introduction of, hey guys, here's who I am, here's who I help, here's what I help them with, and here's how you can help me by either reaching out, that way I can help review or help you find a solution there. If you've got family or friends that this information can be useful, send them and connect them over with me or tag them, and then I can reach out there, or even liking or sharing this post or commenting on it would be a big help as well. Nice and easy. Find out who you are, what you do, how you help them, and how they can help you through seeing that post. That's a nice, easy one to pin to the top. Makes it very clear who you are, what you do as well. Once again, a vacation certificate, when you get a quote policy review, that can be a bit of like, hey, okay, that's a reason to reach out a little bit. But once again, you're missing the chance to build any trust and authority, and you're just posting straight to like, hey, get a free, trip if you reach out. Once again, we want to have some trust and authority with them reaching out, or else we're going to find it much more difficult to have that conversation and to move them through actually doing a presentation, quote, and stuff for them as well, and taking that conversation further. So not that there's anything wrong with vacations and stuff, but we want to build some trust and authority first. Elle, anything you want to add on that?
No, I love it. And so I think the thing with like having a free quote done, like the idea there, the intention there is not necessarily bad, as far as like there's just more compelling ways to really position it. So if the step that you're trying to get people to is to book that time with you to do a review of coverage, think about like what's going to be enticing for somebody. Nobody really wants to like be on the phone to get a quote for insurance. That is why people go online and put in their information, because they just want a quote. So getting on the phone with somebody for a quote of insurance is not really that compelling. So if you're thinking about positioning a review of some sort, think about the way that you can talk about it so that it is compelling. So going back to the example of helping families get out of debt and build wealth, maybe positioning it as a wealth building strategy session where you're sitting down with them and you're actually talking through what's their plan to get out of debt, what's their plan to build wealth. That's much more compelling, and it also starts to differentiate you and position you as different in the marketplace. So not that it's bad to include get a free quote, well, the idea of sitting down and having a review done, but just thinking about the language that you're using, not get a free quote, but instead we're pivoting that to wealth building strategy session, debt elimination strategy session, whatever it is that you offer. That's what we want to sort of think about, how we can talk about that in a more compelling way so that they actually reach out to take that next step.
At the end of the day, I see a lot of agents trying to market themselves or sell the wrong thing. They're trying to sell the product, not what the product provides or why someone would get that insurance, like Elle was saying. So make sure we communicate that clearly, show them ultimately what we're helping them with, not just, a life insurance product. Once again, can separate you aside and separate you from a lot of people that, because the consumers know nothing about insurance, they are not licensed, insurance is confusing, they don't understand it, they don't know the names of these things. For them, if they don't know anything about it, they think it's a commodity. They think like, oh, well, I can just go anyway for life insurance, right? Rather than someone who specializes in certain areas, helping people accomplish different things. As you guys know, as agents, we all have our niches, our specialties. Ultimately, who our best target market is And so we want to clarify that so we can attract more of, right? So we don't want to be generalists. We want to have, who we're ultimately attracting as well. Anything else on optimizing profile?
No, I think we hit it as far as making sure just first, like explaining what you do, who you help, and how you help them. Those are the main things there. I love that you touched on the profile photo being of your face. Good kind of general thing I like to think about is being able to see the whites of your eyes. So it should be that zoomed in enough so that you can see the whites of your eyes. Good lighting and smiling is good. There's a lot of psychology behind when people see smiling faces. It does help build trust and rapport. So if you want to use that social media profile to build trust, build rapport, build confidence, consider smiling in your profile photo. Don't make it an image of your cat or your dog or don't make it your logo. Don't do that. Make sure it's your face.
Optimizing a profile, like ultimately if someone would come to an office of mine, my office should communicate who I am, what I do, what I help with. If they're coming to my profile on Facebook, that's communicating the same, and they can easily know who I am, what I help with. If you're going to go review your personal profile after this and go take a look and see what areas could I optimize or change, or am I completely a secret agent? I definitely need to change some things on my profile. So let's hop in from there. So okay, first things first, we're not a secret agent. We're optimizing the profile, so as people are coming across us, checking us out more, coming to learn more about us, they know who we are, what we help with. So what's the second thing? Building your audience look like, right? Like we need people to be able to see what we do and who we are and connect with us, and we want to make sure that it's the right people. So what does that look like to build your audience?
Yeah. So the next thing, so once you've got an optimized profile and people can know what you do and they've got a way to easily get in touch with you, is building up that following, right? So that's the whole thing with social media is we want eyeballs on our content. We want to essentially get in front of people and get in front of an audience. And a lot of times people are not actively building their audience on social media. So David and I are both really big believers in picking one social media platform. Too many times I'll see agents that get started, get their Facebook, they'll get their Instagram, they'll get their TikTok, they'll get their LinkedIn, they'll get their Twitter, their X or whatever it is, account set up. And it's like they're everywhere and they're being ineffective by being everywhere. So pick one platform. And David and I actually talked a little bit about this on last week's training on picking your platform. And we kind of went into some of the different platforms and which platforms are best for which types of audiences. But pick one platform and start building your audience. Think about this just like you would do daily activity of dialing and working your leads, sending out friend requests to your audience or people that you want to be connected with on a daily basis is really important to having a successful social media strategy. But we don't want our audience to be just anybody, right? We don't want to, and I also see this happen a lot. I see people that will just, they think, oh, I just need a big audience. Like I can help everybody, or I just want to build up my following. So they just connect with anybody, or they'll even pay for followers to get a big audience. But then at the end of the day, that the people that are in that audience are not even people that could work with them. They could be people that are living in Europe or outside of the US and couldn't even purchase a policy from them. So we want to think about who is that right fit client for us? Who is that demographic? And we want to make sure that we're building our audience every single day, every single week with that right fit audience.
And I think something people, in their minds have a misconception is, hey, the more people I'm connected with, the more potential audience I get in front of. So I want to build as many connections as I want, invite everybody to connect with me, and then have as many connections as possible. And, in reality, one, like you said, it doesn't do us any good to be connected with people that aren't the right audience, whether they're our target client or strategic referral partner, center influence. If they're not a part of those, then it doesn't really make sense to build the connections through that. We don't want it to be just anybody, especially if they're not even in the US, but still, we want it to be the right audience. And also, I think there's a misconception is, oh, well, with everybody I'm connected with, when I post or I put pieces of content out, then everybody in my audience sees that. And that's also not how Facebook or social media works. It shows it to a portion of the audience, sees how it does, and is it getting a good response? Is it getting reaction? Is it getting engagement? Cool, then let me show it to more. So that's where if we're not building the right audience, then they're not going to engage, interact with our content because they're not going to find it relevant or even, something they're interested in at all, meaning Facebook ultimately just stops showing them any of our content, which at that point it's like they're not even connected to us. So once again, we want to build the right audience because it's going to help us in much more ways than one, meaning more of our audience loves our content, engages with it, interacts. So now more of the audience then sees that is our target market. So more opportunities come from that as well. So we want to build that right audience. So that's, I guess, part of the second thing is know your audience, right? So we got to know that target audience, and it's not everybody. It's not anybody under 65 or anybody over 65. Got to get a little more defined than that when it comes to our target audience, so it could be more effective with. Doesn't mean that if someone else outside of that comes to us, we can't help them. But with our messaging, we want it to communicate specifically to a target audience. Otherwise, it loses effectiveness. It's watered down at that point. We don't want it watered down.
Absolutely. And I think it really starts there. Also with your profile optimization, what I was saying earlier, as far as what you do, who you help is important. So if it is like families, like really kind of getting clear on the types of families, and understanding too, like, are they a young family that is maybe like they're still building their family and having kids? Are they getting their kids ready to, maybe their kids are starting to drive, maybe their kids are getting ready for college, maybe their kids are grown. Like, there's all different life stages there of families, and typically their insurance needs are going to look a little bit different based off of the different life stage. You should be clear on that. And then when you're building your audience and you're building that following, when you're sending out those requests, you should have alignment with who you're sending out those friend requests to. And David said something, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but also strategic partners as well. So other people that work with your audience, those are people that you also want to be building your audience with. And David, I'd love it if you could share a little bit about that.
At the end of the day, like when it comes to center influence, but strategic referral partners, really looking for three things. And people are like, man, who do I connect with? Or they're thinking just like, oh, I do, PNC. So real estate, mortgage loan officers, not necessarily bad connections. In fact, they can be very good, but also it's not the highest volume time at the moment.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of them are asking, hey, what's that insurance side look like? Can I?
Yeah, that's right.
License? But even still, even with good ones, still they're lacking one of the three things when it comes down to it. Because a lot of people think, oh, strategic referral partners, I want to connect with nurses, doctors, CPAs, accountants, real estate, and mortgage loan officers. And once again, not bad connections, but they're missing one of the three things that makes an amazing connection that can send 10, 15, 20 plus deals a month your way. And so with that, the first two is they deal with my target market. Well, they're not going to be a very great strategic referral partner or able to help send over any referrals or connect with you if they don't actually deal with your target market. We want them to deal with the target market, whether that's new parents or whether that's seniors or whether that's, small business owners. We want them to deal with whatever our target market is. So once again, that comes back to, if I don't know my target market, that's going to be really hard to find my strategic referral partner. And so number two, they have trust or authority with that target market. So the cashier at the grocery store might deal with your target market at all, or, the person at McDonald's taking orders and giving them out might deal with your target market some, but they don't really have any trust or authority with them. So it's not really going to be the person that's going to be sending people over as referrals for the most part. Not to say that it doesn't happen every so often, but when I talk strategic referral partner, I'm talking consistent 10, 15, 20 plus deals a month, stuff that we can count on, not once a year, I'm sending someone over. So that's the second one. They got to have trust and authority, or else their word doesn't really mean too much when they're sending someone over as a referral to you. So all the ones I mentioned tend to have those first two. They deal with my target audience, whether it's CPA, accountants, whatever, and they have some trust or authority. But they lack that third one, which is that they regularly see my target audience and have conversations with them to have the chance of sending those strategic referral partners over. And a lot of those, they're seeing someone once a month, once a quarter, once a year, or when they happen to be in the market for buying a home. And, that's not where I have a lot of opportunity to send a ton of people over. So, for some examples of when we talk about that, our head coach and trainer inside of Closers Click, Trista. She built her independent agency from $0 to $3 million in 2.5 years using just strategic referral partners, for example. No leads, just strategic referral partners. And her two biggest strategic referral partners would send 50 to 60 referrals a month each. So she'd get 100 to 120 referrals a month just from those two strategic referral partners, and she closed 90% of them. Another reason strategic referral partners are great, they have a very high close percentage off of anybody they send over. And those top two referral partners were a salon and a nail place. And if you think about it, they deal with people regularly, and they have usually an hour plus that they're talking to and speaking to them, and have plenty of opportunities sending those referrals over. And normally during those conversations, we're talking family, we're talking life, we have a lot of trust with those people that we engage with regularly and have these conversations with. So they were able to send a lot of referrals over. So when we think about that, okay, who are these strategic referral partners? Who deals with my target audience, who has trust and authority with them, and who speaks with them or sees them on a regular basis, they can send those over. Those are people I absolutely want to be connected with on social media, have as part of my following, my friend connections, so that not only can they send me referrals and stuff over, but I am connected and getting content in front of them. They can share that content. Sometimes even their audience will start seeing the content that we're doing too, which is our target audience, but also them reaching out and say, hey, I actually deal with a lot of the people that you help. I think this could be a really great opportunity. So it could be really great for building those strategic referral partners. And honestly, even just a handful of them can keep your pipeline completely full.
Absolutely. I love that. And it's so like outside of the box too, of not who agents typically think about connecting with. And David, since we are talking about like in the context of social media and building your audience and also thinking about connecting with these centers of influence on social media, what do you find is most effective as far as thinking about starting to connect, using social media and building your audience when you're also thinking about connecting with strategic referral partners online?
I mean, I think one is you got to know who would be a good strategic referral partner, right? Like, so I can go connect with them. And so once I know who that might be, let's say salon, for example, then I want to go find them on social and connect with them. So that could be looking at anything as far as, Chamber of Commerce groups, especially local to me. But, obviously today we're working a lot of telesales and Zoom all over. So it could really be in any states I'm licensed. So local Chamber of Commerce groups, local small business groups, groups for people that own salons, any of these types of things, where I could find that strategic referral partners, which groups are a nice way to take advantage of that because it will put people of different target audiences together, which is great. And then I can, also join the groups. I can connect. I can provide some value or just connect with them naturally within the group. They start seeing content from my actual profile I'm posting due to affinity, or if I shoot a Facebook friend request, connecting with there. And then I can move into a conversation messenger. Hey, absolutely would love to connect. Always looking for really great places to recommend my clients to for top salons. Love to find out a little bit more about what makes your salon special and who the best people to send over as clients would be. Can we connect for like 10, 15 minutes on a Zoom or in person if it's local? Would love to chat some more. And then we just get that conversation rolling. And that's really where strategic referral partner relationships are born out of, especially if I want to take it all the way to those stages. But honestly, even just initially interacting, engaging, especially a friend request, can start building my audience with that strategic referral partners as well.
I love it. That's so good. And I definitely agree. And so I love like thinking outside of the box, but then also thinking about what you're talking about of like the frequency that when you're thinking about great strategic referral partners, great centers of influence, like how often are they potentially seeing a great client of mine? And then the other thing too, kind of going back to your target audience, that when you're asking yourself this question, like who's a good strategic referral partner, you kind of have to know, like, you have to, again, know that target audience and know like where they're spending their time online or within their communities. And that's going to give you a lot of clarity on the types of strategic referral partners and other types of businesses that work with your ideal client. So I love that. And I love some of the things that we've talked about that are kind of like challenging, I think, what a lot of agents sort of just take as the norm, which is like, well, I need to find a real estate agent. I need to find a loan officer. I need to find that CPA or accountant. And but the reality is that there are so many different types of businesses out there that can be great referral partners and, centers of influence. I'm just thinking of like anybody that does any type of like maintenance for homes. So like pest control or lawn services or AC tune-ups, they have a lot of access to work with homeowners, right? And so thinking about connecting with those types of businesses, I think can be awesome strategic referral partners as well.
Love it. Love it. Seeing tons of value. Okay, cool. Well, then let's keep rolling out. So, that we talked about optimizing a profile. We talked about building the right audience and wanting to continue to build that and what goes into a right audience. Now, Elle, what do we do next? So, what goes into a content strategy? What do we put in front of them? What do we do? What do we say? What do we post? How do we make these connections and build this trust?
So having the optimized profile and having the audience, you've got two of the three keys that you need. So the third key there is definitely having an effective content strategy. There's a couple of mistakes that we see happen all of the time that really keeps agents from actually generating leads and opportunities through social media. And there's a couple of things that we see that happen. One, they don't post about their business at all. Like that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier as far as people don't know what you do, who you help. Or two, they are only posting about their business. And so an effective content strategy is really going to bring together both lifestyle content as well as content about your business. People come to social media platforms because it is social and they're looking for that kind of style of content. So you want to make sure that you're using lifestyle content. So things that are happening in your life, celebrating your kid's graduation or what you did on a Saturday, or even posting about like your workspace and working from home, maybe some of the challenges of working from home. I'm sure people would find that they would resonate with that. So that type of content is going to be what drives engagement for your profile. But then we also want to bring in the business. We want to bring in education. We want to answer commonly asked questions that we're getting on the phone. We want to address objections that we hear, concerns, things that probably people are thinking about as they're seeing our content, questions that they likely have. And if your content is already addressing those questions by the time they do reach out, then they're going to be much warmer and ready to be in what we call that buying pocket, ready to have that conversation and ready to move forward on that first call with you. And that's why we see that 90% conversion off of referrals and off of social media that are reaching out to you, because they've already have that know, like, and trust factor happening. And if you've done your content strategy well, you're likely already addressing any common questions, objections, and concerns that they have going through their minds before they even reach out to have that sit down and have that conversation with you.
I love it. So two things I want to add around there is, number one is just when you start to think about social this way and the strategies and how you're using it, that kind of can apply to almost any sort of post that you're doing. And that not only can it just be your life, what you would normally post on social, but how that really plays into this overall strategy as well. So I'll give you an example. Over the weekend, it got warm enough here down in Florida, 80 something degrees, for us to finally go sit out by our pool in the back. And then it got cold again. But anyways, we enjoyed that day that it was warm enough to sit by the pool, even though the water was freezing. And, as part of that, I occasionally, pretty rarely, but occasionally like to have a scarf. And I've got a good buddy of mine who works kind of within the same industry and within insurance and runs a really awesome VA company. And he had sent me as a gift some scarves and some really unique ones. And so I'm out there having a cigar, I wanted to thank him for it and also just show my appreciation, and our audience crossed over a little bit. So, and that can also help too with the social side. So I did a post just with cigars saying thank you, tagged him in it and everything there. And not only got engagement within that post, but his audience and some of his connections and his buddies, who also would be great connections and audience for me and stuff as well, started to see that post as well and started to comment and engage with that as well. Now they're starting to see more of my content, because as they interact with mine, Facebook will show them more of my stuff. So now my stuff is also getting in front of them. So it ended up as just a really natural post, but also got, me in front of some of his audience, some of my audience starting to see him. And he also happened to be at a conference that weekend, just kind of worked out time-wise, that he was at with a whole bunch of people from the insurance industry, which would be my target audience as well. So that as they're checking him out as a profile, my post having him tagged on it is also showing up on his profile. Now, was all of this my intention of everything I did on the post? Not consciously. Some of that might have just been subconsciously what I was even just used to doing, but it all has that effects and all ties together. It's not as simple. It's not just like, oh, just post a picture on social. There actually is a reason and strategies behind we do the things and why they're super effective. That's just an example of like just a normal post and how that ties into a content strategy and how that can really help both with target audience, get discovering new audiences, building trust, and even crossovers between stuff. So the second thing I wanted to mention is that, like Elle said, with getting content in front of your audience, you have the opportunity to almost build your ideal client. When you're using social media strategy, you can build that exact client you want, because the type of content, especially from a business perspective, that you're doing is educational, it's consultative. It's like, what questions am I normally getting from clients or from prospects that I wish they already knew when they came to me? Cool, let's cover that. Let's talk about that a little bit. So by the time they come to me, they're like, man, I've been checking your stuff out for a few weeks. Absolutely makes sense to me. Can you go ahead and help me? Can you help me take advantage of, maybe putting something in place where there's tax advantages to something like that? Maybe you could help me protect my home and my family in case something was to happen to one of us. That's something that you can do through your content strategies, which is what I love and why social is so powerful, is I can build that target audience. So as they come to me, like Elle said, that's why that type of client can close at 90% when they come to us.
Love it. Love it. And I'm seeing there was like a question, can we blend the personal and business together all in like the same reel or all the same piece content? Absolutely. The example that David shared, that is one, what we talked about as far as, showing off your home office or showing off your office, that can bring personal as well as you're bringing a business aspect in there for sure. One of my favorite prompts to do either for video or in written post is like why you got into insurance, like what was that why and the motivator behind that. That's usually there's a personal story there, but it's also deeply connected to your business. All of these things really blend together, the personal and the business, really, really well. And the more effective that you can get at doing that, the better your content will not only perform from an engagement standpoint, but also that know, like, and trust factor that your audience will build with you over time. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger. The last thing that I do want to mention as far as the content strategy is we're talking about blending this personal and business together, but you also really want to make sure that you have a mechanism for kind of giving a reason to people to put up their hand to say that they want the next step. And we love using a method called either a lead magnet or a conversation starter to do this. So like a free training or checklist or new homeowners guide, PDF download, anything like that, that would be valuable to your ideal target audience, that you can say to your audience, hey, I just did this free training. Who would be interested? And people put their hands up and they say, me, I would be interested in that. If you take a look at the Marketing for Insurance Agents group, we do this in our content all of the time. We teach our clients how to do this. We had a client back in October. I love sharing his story because just so awesome to see him he put the profile optimization in place. He put the building the audience in place. And then he did his first conversation starter on the Medicare side. And he said, so his was, I just put a free training together on how you can save on your prescription drugs. Who wants it? And he had over 60 people that commented on that one post and 20 enrollments from that. So this type of strategy where you're now creating conversations, you're creating a reason for people to put their hands up and say, I want more information. Please send that over to me. That's really where you start to see leads, conversations, and opportunities for yourself, and you're able to pull that interest out of your audience.
Love it.